Hi, friends. It's Salt. If you're new here, this channel is all about salt. Salt is the alchemical element of transformation. Salt cleanses, it heals, and it transmutes energy just like you do. This channel finds the rare archetypes who move through life differently. So if you found this, I'm really honored to have you and really just be one of the few who gets to see and reflect you properly. Like when you get a song and you get lyrics randomly stuck in your head? I compare that to being an open channel for the collective because not only do I get random lyrics, songs, phrases, sometimes they're like very distinct quotes that keep playing in loops in my head. And so this one feels important. It came through last night and it was only those who believe can really fall. And I was confused by it at first. I was like, what do you mean? Only those who believe can really fall. Just kind of like keep thinking about it. It kept spinning my wheels over it. But it really feels like people who are struggling or going through these internal wars with themselves or going through external wars and then dealing with the repercussions internally, whatever your story is, it feels like the reason that you struggle is because you hold this like inner belief that magic exists and, there's something higher. And I want to say that that belief is not naive. It's not, you being silly or easily influenced or whatever narrative might be going on about it that has doubt. Your body is just preparing you for what it instinctively feels is coming. Your body knows throughout timelines what's coming, what's happened, what is. Your body is very intelligent. And so while it senses danger, it senses bad things, it also prepares you for good things. And that is where that inner belief comes from. And that is what perpetuates the cycle of like you keep falling. It's because you keep getting up and believing. That just feels important today. The first card that I drew is a transit card, Venus and Taurus in the 12th house. Now, I want to say a couple of things of clarification about the transit cards that I pull. You could technically have this placement like at your birth time in your birth chart. That's specific to your birth. Or this transit could be occurring for you currently, like Venus is transiting over your 12th house today or upcoming. It could also simply not be literal. It could be a more figurative understanding of this placement. And that's kind of how I read these transit cards, in case anyone was curious about that process. Right now, quiet pleasure could be really significant to you, like romanticizing your existence or wanting to in some way, knowing that that's important. You might feel really disconnected from traditional romance, like partners, people, dating, things like that. And you're kind of either wanting to direct it inward or you are directing it inward at this time. You could be like whining and dining yourself in very specific ways, treating yourself, splurging, things like that. So you could be really shifting into self-care, is what I'm seeing. You could be a lot kinder with the splurging and the leisure and the treating. It's coming through really strong with comfort foods here. It could be really significant that comfort foods are really important right now. There is a spiritual importance to eating those foods if you're being drawn to them. Your body might be trying to, from what I'm being shown, ground through these physical means. The message here being to keep allowing those foods to exist with you without shame. Obviously, don't hurt yourself and overindulge and hurt yourself in that way, but also don't deny the safety that your body is asking for, especially at this time. The next transit card that kind of fell out without my permission, I didn't really want to draw another one, but this one kind of came out, is Saturn retrograde in Pisces in the 10th house. And I'll put these in the description so you don't have to remember if it's important to you. What I'm sensing from this is kind of an internal audit being underway. Like your long-term, and I'm getting a lot of career downloads. Like work is very important to the collective right now. Matters of like money and just those earthly, tangible things. But right now, your long-term career vision seems really important, and all of it is under review. You might be asking yourself at this time if you're building or working from your actual core values, or if you even want the thing you're working towards. You could have reached a point where you're like, what am I even working towards? Is this what I want? You're kind of like in that pause space, or in that really, or you're really questioning everything at this time. So Saturn here is a slow moving authority for you. You're learning to lead your career or work in a way, I'm seeing, that doesn't drain you. And that's very, very important to your path. I don't really like to get a lot of like earthly career readings necessarily, but this feels very important to this collective. It's important to just your purpose as a whole, just because we spend a lot of our time in our work. So there's also an interesting message here about a slight discomfort with your body image popping up at this time or upcoming. That's really specific, but I'm picking up on it being under your review as well as this like work and career and life theme, especially comfort foods as they come into play with the last transit that I drew. I'm sensing like a rejection of that from you and focusing on the body harshly as a result. Like you don't get your comfort foods because of this. Like you have these goals, whatever it may be, however it manifests for you. I'm kind of seeing that conflict show up here, but it's only temporary. It'll pass, it's looking like. So the next thing that came up is the Two of Cups came and Venus trine came, which is a very general aspect. I think this is going back to the Venus and Taurus card that I pulled, and it's suggesting that a trine is coming with that, I believe. There's a deep need here, from what I'm sensing, for a gentle connection that you have not experienced yet. You're recently becoming highly attuned to your needs, and I sense a lot of the time previously in the past or in other romantic connections, you kind of just went into these relationships without considering what you really need long term, your intentions. But I see that really shifting recently. Like you are documenting your needs, you are demanding these critical things, you understand them a lot more from a intellectual level and from a primal level. And I think in the past you just kind of went with the flow, maybe a little bit more. So what I think Spirit is suggesting here from what we've drawn today is you're on a precipice of a real soul level love coming in that is very gentle from what I'm feeling, and that meets your soul's needs in a way that you have not experienced that before. And I'm not just saying this to like, I know a lot of you say like, feed my delusions, or this is very much like not a hope spiral. This is very much like, you were meant to have a soul level love. It's very much your rite of passage. It's just very much what you deserve in this lifetime. It's like a basic need, right? It's not asking for the world to ask for your needs to be met. So it felt important that I clarified this is not just like some empty hope thing. This is your needs, and they are the basics, right, to meet. So, but I don't think that you maybe think that because of what you've experienced in the past. You've been through a lot of cycles of like difficulties and chaos. And so when you hear things like a gentle love, you're thinking, oh, that's just like a dream. That's a fantasy. It's really not. It's the true basics that you deserve. So there's a lot of themes here with this person about emotional loyalty that I don't think that you've ever experienced with any connection, it's looking like. I also see that this is one of those loves that builds over time slowly, and where I see this kind of like shocking you, confusing you, disorienting you is you're used to intense love that happens really passionately and has a huge spark, and that won't be this at all. So I'm seeing you kind of feel a little unsure of how to respond to this type of person at first, because I see here you're used to that very specific type of connection that might be chaotic, really passionate at first, really electric. But this one, just meets you where you are and holds emotional depth in a way that you haven't experienced yet. It'll be very just, the feeling is safe, very safe. So this energy feels really good. I'm so, so excited for you to be able to experience this. But there is a message here, like a little side note from Spirit is what it's feeling like, is there's a message here about trying new things. So Spirit can't just, or the universe can't just like break down your door and throw this person in at you. So Spirit is asking you to slowly shift to trying new things. Now, it's very important that I note here that this is not necessarily like actively dating or looking for this person. That might have the opposite effect. Instead, this is just very simple means of pleasure that relate to that Venus trine that I pulled up at the beginning. Is putting yourself out in public seems really important. Just being open to conversations around you naturally. I'm seeing someone with like headphones in a lot, like trying to avoid conversations with others or just trying to get through the actions at grocery stores, like just doesn't want to talk and engage with people. And that's fine sometimes. But I'm being guided to tell you to try to go around without those, either in a literal or metaphor sense, is just be open to those around you for a while. Just the simple things you wouldn't expect. And I think the theme here that's very important to this reading that came up at the very end, which I think is funny, is surrender. It's a very important theme here because it feels like this collective wants control on how this person comes in somehow. Like they either want to know the specific details, the transits, when, where, they're getting impatient. There's some sort of like control here, some sort of grip. And I can't really articulate it, but there's a message here to just omit more fun frequencies, more open frequencies, like joining hobby clubs, or you don't really have to go that extreme if you're not comfortable with that. But I just see leaning into that self-care ritual being really important, like opening your ears in a way to those around you. You don't have to actively go out if you're not really the social type. That's fine. Just walking out in public and being open to connect to people is a very important side note here. So this last part is, I think some of you already intuitively know to do this, but keep leaving comments. The comments themselves do not have to be anything specific or personal to you. Think of these as energetic nudges for me to align with your energy. It helps me channel for you more efficiently, and I want to be able to do that. I read each and every one always, and I am so thankful for all of you. So, cheers, friends.